Putin is there now. And if he wants to fight ISIL alone, that's a challenge, folks. And if he does fight ISIL alone, how does it work out for Russia to have sided with Assad, sided with Iran, sided with Hezbollah, when they're trying to reach out to the rest of the Sunni world in the region? That's not a good equation for Russia. And moreover, even if it were, it won't work to end the violence, because the Sunni world will never accept Assad again. Look, this revolution began with young people in Syria demonstrating because they wanted a future. They wanted opportunity, education, so forth. They went out and they did. Thugs came out and beat them up. The parents got angry that the thugs beat the kids up, and they went out and demonstrated, and they were met with bullets. They were killed. That's how this began. And Assad has made a series of choices ever since then that is literally destroying his country. 3/4 of his country is displaced. It's in Jordan, it's in Lebanon, it's in Turkey, and in the desert. The threat is that those people in the desert and others could become the next acolytes of ISIL if we don't find a way to join together to go after ISIL. And if Russia's there alone fighting them, guess what? Russia becomes the target. And Russia starts seeing, who knows, man-pads will find their way in there, airplanes will fall out of the sky, they will become vilified, they'll become the new magnet, together with Assad, for the jihadis. If the threat is jihadism, and it is, and the threat is the destruction of Syria so that all of these refugees are swamping into Europe and changing the whole character and politics of Europe, this is a time to unite to find a way out. And as I said in the beginning, if Assad himself could save this whole process by saying, I will engage in a managed transition where we all work together to stabilize the government, save the institutions of government, and turn on ISIL and preserve Syria. That could happen. It all depends on one man, and Russia and Iran should not be so stubborn here that they tie this whole thing up because of one person.
The world saw yesterday two leaders, President Putin, President Obama, in very contentious and different speeches before the United Nations. During the course of the meeting with President Putin yesterday, President Obama, you were in the meeting. What were the points of agreement?
Well, the points of agreement are that we want to resolve Ukraine. Ukraine was the first topic, by the way. And we spent a fair amount of time on Ukraine. And I think there's a path that we discussed that we will follow up on in order to try to resolve some of the outstanding issues in order to fully implement Minsk. And there's a very important meeting on October 2nd with President Hollande and Chancellor Merkel and Putin in Paris, I believe. Hopefully we can work to, over these next 3 months, there's a potential to try to make progress in Ukraine if people want to cooperate. Then we moved to Syria. It was very constructive, and as I said, the agreement is fundamentally that we want to try to resolve this. The agreement is that ISIL is a threat to everybody, and we need to come together to find a way to fight ISIL. The agreement is that we want to save Syria, keep it unified, keep it secular. So surely, in those very fundamental principles in which we could agree, we should be able to find some...
Could you envision the United States and Russia in some form of an alliance down the road against ISIL?
Providing there, and this is on the table, if you can resolve this transition of Assad, that is absolutely possible. But you have to have a clarity for everybody about the way forward. So what was agreed on further is that Lavrov and myself and our other colleagues, the French, the Germans, the British, and the Saudis, the Turks, the Qataris, the Jordanians, all of us.
Iranians too?
In a appropriate manner, the Iranians are going to have to obviously be a component of it, but not at the table in a direct way, but at least not yet. And if we can lead forward in a competent way here, to find the formula by which we can know where we're going in the political track, then it's very, very possible. Not even possible, it's likely that people will say, we're all interested in destroying. ISIL is a threat to everybody. There isn't one country in the region that doesn't despise what ISIL stands for and is doing, and that doesn't want to eliminate them. So we have staring us in the face here an enormous opportunity to actually find a way forward to have peace and stability in Syria, to reconstitute it. It'll take years to do that. This will not be an easy fight, even with concerted coordination with respect to ISIL. But it is far more doable with that kind of approach than otherwise. Now, I heard Katty Kay's name, and I know Katty Kay said we didn't have a plan. Well, there is a plan, and the President is moving forward with any number of options and ways to augment our efforts on ISIL. It's not as easy as some people thought. Some parts of it